What's going on, beautiful people? So we are here for the review of Empire Season 2, episode, I think it's 8, My Bad Parts. Now, girl, I called that shit. Did I not call that shit, girl? Did I not call that shit, girl? Yes, I did, girl. And y'all already know that I have me some notes simply because I talk a little bit too much, okay? And I apologize for this review being up late. If you want to know why it's up late, head on over and add me on Facebook and you will find out why it's late, girl. The link is down in the description box for you to add me as a friend on Facebook, okay? Like I said, y'all know I got some notes because I talk a little bit too damn much when it comes to these reviews and shit. Well, recaps, okay? It's pretty much like a recap because I pretty much recap everything that happened in the show. And as I'm recapping it, I go ahead and discuss what happened in the, you know, the recap or whatever. So it's a recap slash review, okay? So it starts out with Frida dissing Hakeem on this little diss situation that she has going, and she's calling him, of course, daddy's little girl. Daddy's little girl. And we already know Hakeem is feeling some type of way right now anyway, because after all this whole kidnapping thing and all the rumors that are going around on the review blogs and things like that, a lot of people are speculating that Hakeem was raped by those, you know, kidnapper dudes. I don't really know how I feel about that as far as was he raped or not. I don't know. It's up for debate, but a lot of people are speculating that he was raped. So now anytime anybody calls him a bitch or anything like that, Hakeem low-key be looking kind of, you know, cross-eyed and shit, like he feels some type of way when somebody calls him a bitch. I mean, any man would feel some type of way when somebody calls him a bitch, but, you know, I noticed that Hakeem gets a little riled up when somebody calls him a bitch, but, you know, she was on here calling him a little, you know, daddy's little girl and all that type of stuff. So any reference that, you know, references a female, he kind of goes off when it comes to those, you know, disses and things like that. So, he about, you know, back at the OK Corral, he about to knock Boots in his head, getting on my damn nerve. He about to knock Boots with the chick from, you know, Gladys Knight and the Pips, you know, Bernard the Trio, whatever the hell their name is, the lead singer. And, you know, as they're about to do their little thugs fizzle, she tells him, look, you know, I'm a virgin. You know, this is my first time. He's like, you mean first time as in virgin? She was like, yeah. He was like, so does that mean once we do this, you're going to be following me around like a puppy dog? You know, like, and we already know that as females, most times your first, you know, the person that you give your purity to, you know, you kind of, you know, a lot of people consider that to be their first love. And a lot of times, you know, you get kind of clingy when it comes to shit like that. So he feel like, you know, shit, if I fuck you now, you gonna be following me around like a puppy dog. So, you know, he's like, you know, kind of low key, like, okay, maybe we need to hold up off of this shit. But he said he wanted it to be right and all that type of stuff, so they decide not to go through with the whole little, you know, knocking the boots thing, which is a great thing. You know, you don't want them, number one, you don't want your first time to be on no damn pool table, because that's what they was on, a pool table. You don't want your first time to be on no damn pool table, girl. No, negative. So they decide to take it slow and all that type of shit right there. So back at Empire, you know, Pepsi is there having a meeting with Lucius and Jamal because they're interested in him being the new face of Pepsi, okay? And, you know, they basically tell him the song got to be on point. And Lucius is like, you ain't got to worry about that. Oh, it's going to be on point, all this type of shit. But, you know, Jamal, he already knows what Cookie can do. His mama can do. So he wants Cookie to help. So, you know, basically Lucius is saying everything going to be popping. We're going to get in the studio. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to help you. Bam, boom, pow. You know, you going to get this. So Lucius is on board with this. But Lucius, you know, is expecting that he's going to be the one to get Jamal the proper, you know, song and performance and all this stuff. So Pepsi will be interested in him being the new face of their company, okay? So the music, we find out, if I'm not mistaken, y'all school me on this, okay? What is going on with this music screaming dude? Does he want more money, or is it now he's getting to the point where he's telling Lucius that he wants Lucius to buy the company altogether? I'm not really understanding what's going on with that whole little situation. I'm a little confused by it, but I think that the guy wants more money, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, leave it down in the comment section. Y'all know this is the reason why we do these reviews and recaps. In case somebody gets confused on something, y'all can help chime in down in the comment section so we can kind of get up on what exactly is going on. But what's going on with the screaming dude? I think he want more money or something like that. I don't know. Maybe he, you know, changing the terms of the contract. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, so Jamal, you know, meets with Cookie to get her help with the Pepsi song or whatever. And he basically know that Lucius gonna be pissed, okay? Because, you know, Cookie got that extra little touch. Lucius is good with the beats and everything, but Cookie is also good as well. You know, Cookie is just as good as Lucius. So Jamal kind of sort of want both of their input on this song, because, you know, he knows that they both have something great to offer. So next thing we know, bitch, Hakeem going on fucking Periscope. That's why I love fucking Periscope. And you can, of course, tell there was a little bit of Photoshop, the way the hearts and shit was going. But or maybe they did the shit in real time. I don't know. But Hakeem ass is on Periscope basically telling everybody that he wants to battle Frida. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't finna be making no diss about me, calling me daddy's little girl, and you think I'm gonna sit back and not gonna say shit. So I want to battle your mother. I am challenging you to a rap battle, bitch. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to battle your ass. And so I'm letting everybody on Periscope know. Let her ass know that I want to battle her. Okay, so that's what's going on with Hakeem. He's on Periscope telling the people that he want to battle Frida. Okay, that shit was funny as hell. So next thing we see, Boo Boo Kitty ass is standing in the fucking bathroom with a knife. Okay, at first I'm thinking to myself, but this bitch about to slit her fucking wrist. That's what I thought at first, to be honest, because I saw the knife. I didn't see the pregnancy test that she had in her hand. But she's in the bathroom. She took a pregnancy test, and apparently this pregnancy test has come out positive. Okay, so of course she gets on the phone to call Hakeem, but he doesn't answer. And she tells him, you know, I'm just calling because I have something that I need to tell you, or whatever the fuck she said on the phone. But he didn't answer the phone. She didn't tell him on the message, but she called him and told him it was something that she needed to tell him. Okay. So that's what's going on with her ass. Like I said, she's sitting there with a fucking knife. I don't know what the fuck she was going to do with the knife. I don't know if she was going to slit her wrist or what the fuck she had going on. But I guess maybe she was probably going to kill herself until she saw that she was pregnant. I'm not exactly sure. Y'all can chime in on that down in the comment section below as well, okay? So Pretty Boy Floyd, if y'all don't know who Pretty Boy Floyd is, you know, that's the, you know, that sexy ass Italian man, whatever the hell he is. Okay, him and Cookie, you know, he's basically showing Cookie the blogs of where, you know, Hakeem has challenged Frida to a rap battle, okay? And, you know, next thing we know, Hakeem comes in and, you know, she's like, boy, are you crazy? And he's like, what you mean? You know, I got this. You know, I want to, you know, this bitch ain't finna be just dissing me and I ain't gonna say shit, okay? And Cookie basically feels like Frida will leave his ass in the dust. Like, she will fucking murderize your ass. Because we already know Frida got some badass rhymes and stuff. Frida is a bad motherfucker. I'm waiting on an album from her to come out. I don't even listen to rap and all that type of shit, but if she comes out with an album, if she got one out, y'all also chime in on that in the comment section. If she has an album out, I want that shit, because she is a flower. And like I said, I'm not even into rap like that, but I absolutely love her style. And like I said, she's basically telling him, you know, that she feel like Frida leave his ass in the dust, okay? And Hakeem basically sit there and tell Pretty Boy Floyd, look, why the fuck are you in here being messy, showing my mama shit about what I done said on the blogs or whatever, okay? So and you know, he basically telling him to get out of the office, okay? Get out of my motherfucking place. So as he's telling him, man, don't do this, because, you know, of course, Hakeem bucking up or whatever, getting all in his face. So he pushes Hakeem. When he pushed Hakeem, oh, Cookie wasn't having that shit. She bitch slapped his ass like, nigga, don't you ever put your motherfucking hands on my child. Now I love that shit. Let's clap one time for Cookie. Because that's one thing, ladies and gentlemen, never let a motherfucker you fucking with put their hands on your goddamn child. I'm sorry. Now, of course, you don't let your children just go around disrespecting your boo thing. But at the same time, nigga, you don't put your hands on my children. Period, point blank, exclamation, motherfucking point. So shout out to Cookie for defending her child, okay? So that's what's going on with that situation. So she slapped the fuck out of him. And, you know, basically, that's the end of that shit. I guess he was looking like, oh, shit. But I'm wondering what's going to pop out with that. I think she low-key kind of pissed his ass off. Because I don't know what, we already know that he's still in works with these kidnapper motherfuckers. So that's probably going to tie into that. He probably pissed off now that this bitch done slapped me. Oh, hell no. So, Cookie is at Jamal's house, okay? And she asked him basically, what's up with our relationship? You know, we make chemistry together. You're my baby. I want us to be how we used to be. And, you know, they're basically discussing what's going on with their relationship. And he really does honestly and truly want to work with her, but he really don't want to piss his father off, okay? And all of a sudden, as she's at his house, and they're, you know, doing the little, you know, getting the song and stuff together just right, Lucius pops his motherfucking ass up. And as Lucius pops up, of course, Cookie has to run and hide, because at this particular point in time, he doesn't know that Jamal and Cookie are working together. So she has to hide, but Lucius sees her coat in there. He's like, "What's your mama coat doing?" He's like, "You know, she always leaves shit here. She up there hiding in the closet and shit." So she had to go run and hide because, you know, she didn't want Lucius to know that they was there together working on this song or whatever. And he shows up and he has a, you know, a idea for the song. And Jamal absolutely, he loves it. But he also has this, you know, this thing that Cookie helped him with, and it sounds great as well, but he wants to mesh them together because together it will be the perfect collaboration as far as making the perfect song for Pepsi to be interested in. I mean, it's the Lucius's beats with Cookie's harmonies with the piano and things like that was absolutely amazing. There's a fucking gnat in here and he has to die. Okay, I had some fucking bananas in here and they fuck around and got a little bit too ripe. And now it's a fucking gnat in here, and he got to die, baby. Today. Sorry about that, family. I had to. But anyway, so next thing we see is Anika. Okay, Anika. Y'all tell me this as well in the comment section. Was that a gynecologist that she was at? Because I saw a lot of pregnant women that were in there. Was that a gyno she was going to see? Where she runs into Andre's wife? Because okay, we already know that Andre's wife is pregnant. Or is that, it's confusing. Because at first, I thought that bitch was lying about being pregnant. But apparently, she's pregnant for real. I don't know. I was a little confused about that as well. Because I thought the bitch was lying at first. But, you know, and she's basically telling Anika how, you know, Lucius is a sucker for babies. Because we already know that once Lucius found out that, you know, she was pregnant with his, you know, grandson. That, you know, Lucius was... or was a granddaughter, I don't exactly. But anyway, when he found out she was pregnant, Lucius was like, you know, he started having a little twinkle in his eye because he has a soft spot for children. And she was basically telling Anika that, and Anika had it looking at her like, oh, really? You know, because Anika is pregnant now with possibly Hakeem's baby. And I guess she feels like, okay, because we already know Anika is basically on her own now. She probably ain't got no damn money. She ain't got nobody. She broke. And, you know, she came from the Lion Dynasty, and not Lion Dynasty, she came from Empire, you know, having all of this money with, you know, with Lucius Lion, and now she's just down to nothing. Cookie basically kicked her out of Lion Dynasty, so she's really on her own now. And I guess she really feels like this is her way back into the Empire, because now she's pregnant with Lucius Lion's grandchild. Okay, so yeah, that's basically why she got that look in her eye once Andre's wife tells her, you know, Lucius is a sucker for babies. Okay, so Hakeem comes in, he catches Jamal and Cookie talking, and now he know that they working together. He basically threatens to tell Lucius that they're working together. And of course, Cookie said, you know what you sound like? You sound like a snitch bitch. And of course, when she said that, he was kind of like, you know, looking like, oh my God, like, oh shit. Like I said, there go to, you know, he kind of feels some type of way when somebody references him in a manner that they would reference, you know, I guess insinuating that he's like a female, okay? And of course he's like, okay, I'm gonna keep it under wraps right now. She was like, well, you the boss, you know? She was like, cause I feel like, he said, cause I feel some type of way that you helping him like this and you not really helping me. You know I'm finna do this rap battle with Frida. You're not really helping me on my situation. So, and you sitting there doing all this for Jamal. He was like, I always thought that you loved him more than me anyway. So he basically threatens to tell, but when she calls him a snitch bitch, she told him, you know, okay, I'm gonna help you and all this type of shit. You the boss and all this type of shit. And he basically says that he'll keep it under wraps for now. So, yeah, but he called him. So now Hakeem knows that she's working with Jamal. Okay. So Lucius and a pimp named Slickback. Shout out to my auntie Lady Nigga. She came up with that name, pimp named Slickback, for the dude who, you know, the lawyer guy that came into the jail and the one that basically got Lucius out of jail. Lucius and a pimp named Slickback and Andre, they're thinking about how to blackmail this dude. See, that's why I said I'm confused about what's going on with this music streaming shit. Are they talking about blackmailing the guy? Like I said, that whole little conversation that they had right there, I was confused as fuck. Chime in now in the comment section, okay? But I think they're basically plotting on how to blackmail the dude. Like I said, I'm not really understanding that whole little part right there. So that's what's going on with that, okay? So Anika goes to Hakeem's house and she walks in, and of course she's kissing him and all this type of shit. He's like, slow down, because we already know that Hakeem, you know, is into chick from, you know, Gladys Knight and the Pimps, the lead singer. So, you know, he's telling her, you know, calm down and all this type of shit, all the kissing. She was like, well, I have something to tell you, but I want you to be comfortable before I tell you, okay? So she's attempting to tell him, and then all of a sudden he tells her, you know, I think I'm in love. And she's, you know, of course she, like, well, at first I thought she was going to think he was talking about he was in love with her. And she was like, but I still want us to be cool. And he was like, so we still cool? She was like, of course we still cool. So, of course, she going to get her shoes and shit and leave. And she doesn't tell him that she's pregnant, okay? So, at this point, she doesn't tell him. So, I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is she gonna do now? I don't know. So, Jamal meets with Lucius and lets him listen to the song that, you know, Cookie made or whatever. And Lucius still don't know that Cookie helped with this song. So Lucius like it and asks if they can combine them together, because I guess Lucius probably thinks at this point that there's something that Jamal did on his own. So combining it together sounded great. So Lucius absolutely loved it. Next thing we know, Jamal invites Cookie and Lucius both to, I don't know if it was that Cookie studio or what, but he invites them to this whole beat making process where he's performing with both of their melodies combined together. And, you know, Lucius basically tells Jamal that he ain't working with Cookie. But when they combined the music together, it sounded great, and they both absolutely loved it. And of course, they were agreeing for all of 5 seconds, and all of a sudden they started disagreeing, and basically Lucius and Cookie said, choose. And Jamal was like, I ain't choosing. And he leaves. So that's when they both come to the conclusion that with this whole rap battle thing, if, you know, Hakeem wins, then Cookie can help, you know, Jamal with this album. And if, you know, Frida wins, then Lucius can work with Hakeem or whatever. They basically come up with this whole little deal right here, as far as who wins the rap battle, who can do what, okay? So that's what's going on with that. So here we go with the battle thing. Cookie and Lucius, they're both coaching a little, you know, coaching Hakeem and Frida as to what's going to happen at the battle. I'm going to give you a, you know, a topic or whatever. You just gonna have to flow to this topic. So they're basically just practicing for this rap battle. So that's what's going on in the next clip, okay? And Lucius, the pimp named Slickback, they're waiting on Mimi at this meeting with the music streaming dude, and of course Mimi's not there. So at this point they thinking this bitch ain't gonna show up. This bitch is back the fuck out, and we don't know what the fuck is going on. So all of a sudden, you know, Lucius ends up telling the pimp named Slickback that he wants to buy this shit, and the pimp named Slickback is like, nigga, you can barely afford your house, so, you know, you damn sure can't afford the whole thing or whatever. So Mimi ends up showing up, and, you know, because the guy was about to leave, and Mimi literally popped up when the guy was about to stand up. So they had the contract and everything, and she basically shows Lucius the contract, and Lucius decides that he's going to sign this fucking contract, knowing that he's fucking, bro. He signed the contract and threw the shit on the table, talking about, when all this over, my own, some shit he said, but bitch, I think that shit was a horrible, horrible idea what the fuck he just did, and I think he's probably going to put himself into some serious ass debt with this. I don't really understand what's going on. Like I said, I want y'all to chime in the comment section about what's going on with the music streaming service, because I may be totally wrong on that, but I think he signed to buy it. I'm not exactly sure. So y'all, like I said, chime in on that in the comment section, okay? So that's what's going on with that. So Jamal is at his Pepsi audition with Cookie and Lucius. He performs. The performance is a bomb, absolutely bomb. And he's basically, after the performance is done, he basically tells Cookie and Lucius that he wants them both to be producers on his album. They're gonna love it. They're gonna work together, and they're gonna like it. Period. Point blank. Exclamation point. So after he tells them all that, and they basically like, okay, cool, whatever. The lady comes out and tells Jamal that they loved him and they want him to be the new face of Pepsi, etc., etc. So they all ecstatic, happy, and all that good shit, because we all know that bitch, that's bank right there. When somebody tell you they want you to be the face of their fucking company, girl, that is bank. So shout out to him for that, okay? So the battle starts, and Hakeem comes in being all extra dramatic and shit, and bitch, y'all, that fool told her he gonna send her funny looking ass back to the fucking circus. She's basically telling him he's daddy's little girl. He ain't nothing but a bitch. I mean, they just going ham and cheese on each other. That fucking rap battle, I thought it was great. I thought it was excellent. Y'all, I mean, I just really thought it was a great rap battle. I don't know about y'all. Like I said, I'm not really big into rap, but I honestly enjoyed the rap battle. And I think Hakeem, I mean, she has some great, you know, skills or whatever, but I think, you know, it was probably a little too hyped up for Hakeem, because I really honestly and truly think Frida won. But anyway, you know, Hakeem ended up winning that rap battle, and that's that. So Cookie got you know, exclusive rights to be able to work with Jamal. So yeah, that's what happened with that. So Hakeem starts going off saying how, you know, he don't want to go by Hakeem line anymore. He only wants to go by Hakeem. So he gets all dramatic and shit, gets a fucking stick and knocks out the lights that got Hakeem lying in it. And now the lights just say Hakeem. And everybody's like, Hakeem, Hakeem, Hakeem. So Hakeem ended up winning this rap battle. Like I said, Cookie basically gets exclusive rights to work with, you know, help produce Jamal's new album. And of course, Lucius has a fucking flashback of him sleeping next to this fucking lion. I don't really understand this flashback. Maybe we'll know in the next episode. I'm not exactly sure. So that's what's going on with that. Then all of a sudden, Biblical Fox shows up, and her name is Candace. She is Cookie's sister, and she basically shows up to tell Cookie that, you know, Cookie's other sister, Jamel's, you know, you know the chick I'm talking about. I can't think of her fucking name right now. She basically shows up to tell her that she's smoking a lot now. And, you know, and Cookie's like, bitch, you showed up to tell me this bitch smoking? You know, I don't give a fuck. You basically showing up telling me this motherfucker smoking, but okay. And she's like, well, I showed up to tell you that she's smoking all this shit, and she left her damn kids with a note blaming you and Jamel for this shit. Okay, and we already know who Jamel is. Jamel is the motherfucker that's dead, that went and killed, you know, the dudes for Cookie, and they cut his motherfucking head off in jail. That's Jamel. So she's blaming Cookie and Jamel for all this shit. So Cookie basically tells Candace, look, we gotta go to Philadelphia. I don't know what the fuck they gotta go to Philadelphia for, but they gotta go to Philly, okay? So that's what's going on with that. So, Hakeem, you know, is outside, and he's telling, you know, he's standing out there with the security and the chick from Gladys Knight and the Pimps, you know, the lead singer, the one that's the virgin that he's in love with. He's standing out there with her, and he has an Uber for her to take her home, or whatever the fuck it is. It looked like a fucking Uber to me. Has an Uber for her to take her home. And, you know, she basically asked him, so are you going to come with me? And he's like, no. He's like, I don't, you know, I want everything to be perfect. So basically, he doesn't want to, you know, he wants everything to be right for their first time or whatever. So he don't want to go home with her and shit happens. So he gets her an Uber to take her home. She gets inside of the Uber, and, you know, the Uber driver asks her how she doing, where's she going? And the Uber driver is Anika. Bitch, the Uber driver is Anika. Yes, bitch. So Anika's in there with this goddamn platinum blonde wig on, and she probably finna take this bitch somewhere and kill her ass. Okay? Take and throw her somewhere in the deep blue sea, boo. Yeah, she probably about to kill the fuck out of, Gladys Knight and the Pips, lead singer. Yeah, she probably about to kill her. So that shit right there, that shit threw me through a fucking loop. This bitch is crazy. What is she doing with this girl, y'all? She done went and threw her in the water somewhere. She gonna kill her. She gonna always. She probably got her ass probably tied up in her damn apartment and stuff. She probably ain't gonna kill her. She gonna probably have her ass somewhere tied up though. She probably gonna have her somewhere tied up. So that's what's going on with that. And then the next episode, we're gonna see Alicia Keys. We're also gonna see Anika pop up at Hakeem's house again in that same fucking dress that she had on. Like I said, she showing up gotta be broke. She ain't got but one fucking dress, y'all. Show up at Hakeem's house with that same fucking dress. Basically telling Hakeem, I know you in love with me. Yeah, she gonna be going fucking crazy. So I can't wait until the next episode, family. I cannot wait to see what exactly she gonna do to this damn girl. Did she throw her in the fucking sea? Do she have her tied up in her house? What did she do to this chick? Can't wait to see that. So y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode down in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to go and add me on Facebook. Share this video on your social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, bitch, wherever you share videos, okay? And if you are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.